fucking cookies here.
We got it all, but right now it's time for the scope out. The 2010 Video Game Awards took place in Los Angeles last Saturday. Neil Patrick Harris was the host. My Chemical Romance played some awesome tunes, and they celebrated the best games of 2010. No surprise, in the PC category, the best game went to StarCraft 2. The award for Best First-Person Shooter went to the best-selling game of the year, Call of Duty Black Ops, and Halo Reach took home the hardware for Best Multiplayer Game. But the biggest award of the night, the trophy for Game of the Year, went to Rockstar Games, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead also won awards for Best Song, Original Score, and Best Downloadable Content. Puckett, what'd you think?
Well, to be honest, Shibby, congrats to Red Dead. It's a pretty decent game. Actually, a lot of people love it. I'm not one of those people, though. I definitely would have given Game of the Year to StarCraft 2 for Best Competitive Title, and I think Best Game of the Year has to go to Black Ops. Hell, it's the best-selling game that's ever been created. Black Ops, you get my props.
Yep. Well, after the VGAs, it seemed the fans were talking more about the new trailers than the games that won the awards. The night was jam-packed with one announcement after another, highlighting some of the exciting titles coming out in 2011. Puckett, which ones are you looking forward to?
Well, dude, the VGAs were basically one giant video gaming commercial, but I wasn't mad when I was watching it because there were so many sweet trailers. I have to say, I really liked the trailer for Mass Effect 3. The game will apparently wrap up the series, and it's set for a holiday release next year. And judging by the scenes in the trailer, it seems this installment might focus a little bit more on protecting the Earth than fighting throughout the galaxy. So, pretty sweet stuff out of Mass Effect. But in other news, we also saw some stuff from Bethesda's announcement of the sequel Oblivion 5. And then, of course, we're going to see Uncharted 3's Drake's Deception. So, pretty sweet stuff coming in 2011.
Definitely a lot to look forward to. And not to mention the announcement that came from film director Guillermo Del Toro and THQ regarding their new project, Insane. The title, which isn't set to release until 2013, will be the first installment of what's being called, quote, an unprecedented cinematic experience. Del Toro went on to say, quote, I want to take players to a place they have never seen before, where every single action makes them question their own senses of morality and reality. Puckett, thoughts?
Sounds pretty dark, dude. Del Toro, pretty creepy guy in that picture, but hey, I'll give him some props here. It sounds like some interesting stuff. I mean, the concept's kind of sweet. We're having a guy come from the film industry into the video game world, you know, but we can't judge how successful this game's going to be after looking at the trailer. You couldn't tell what the hell was going on there. And then, of course, the game's not going to be available till 2013 anyway, so it's really difficult to gauge the success of the franchise. But I have to say, I like the idea. I like the guy is the director for movies like Hellboy and Pan's Labyrinth, making the move to video games. Hopefully he comes out with some pretty sweet products.
Yeah, definitely. A lot to look forward to. And speaking of Hollywood, now with a look at this year's crop of holiday movies, here is OSR writer and the angriest guy we know, Matt Betts.
Thank you, guys. How you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic.
Happy holidays. Well, it's that time of year again when Hollywood tries to take advantage of our tryptophan buzz by rolling out as much garbage as they can. So here are my thoughts on what to check out and what to avoid. First up, The Chronicles of Narnia, Voyage of the Dawn Treader. No, don't need to see it. Look, I got room for like one fantasy world in my life, and it's called Middle-earth. Always has been, always will be. Moving on, Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie star in The Tourist. I don't know whether the movie's going to be any good, but this poster rules. I mean, doesn't it look like Johnny Depp saying, oh man, here comes my girlfriend, act normal, act normal. Meanwhile, Mark Wahlberg stars in The Fighter, the story of an Irish guy from Boston who gets into fights. This is right in Wahlberg's wheelhouse, I think. I mean, I haven't been this confident about an actor in a role since Courtney Love played a crackhead in The People vs. Larry Flint. Moving on, How Do You Know is a movie that answers the question, how do you know a movie is gonna suck? The answer? Sometimes you just know. Meanwhile, Joel and Ethan Coen are messing with John Wayne's corpse by remaking True Grit. Jack Black is overbearing in 2D, let alone 3D, and little fuckers can, well, go fuck themselves. So you're probably wondering, Matt, are there any movies this year like worth checking out? And the answer is yes. I give you Dahmer vs. Gacy. The plot is simple. A government lab tries to create a super killer using the DNA of Jeffrey Dahmer and John Wayne Gacy. In a surprising plot twist, the killers escape. Man, I didn't see that coming. And while they wreak havoc across the land, only one man is brave enough to stop them. A whiskey-fueled, God-fearing redneck named Ringo. But first, Ringo has to get by the ninjas. Are you kidding me? Ninjas, serial killers, rednecks with shotguns named Ringo? Dahmer versus Gacy, game, set, match. Oh, and Tron will probably be pretty awesome too. Thanks, guys.
Ninjas, 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 ninjas.
All right.
Yeah, enough of that.
Tons of ninjas. That's it for the scope. Actually, we'll be back with more Scope Out after the break.
Bonus scope outs are coming. Woo!
Welcome back. Moving on with the Scope Out. Developers at Moon Studios have been generating some significant buzz around the gaming community lately thanks to their announcement of their new title, Warsuit. Puckett, what's causing all the commotion?
Well, dude, the commotion is being caused by the video they put on YouTube with a bit of an introduction to the new game, Warsuit. I have to say, super impressed by the intro so far. Basically, Warsuit is going to be a combination of two of my favorite games, StarCraft and Halo. But it's important, guys, to remember that this isn't the first time developers have attempted to combine the first-person shooter and real-time strategy formats. However, after watching the trailer, I think that the guys at Moon Studios may have nailed it, man. I really like their approach to the game. In the intro video they mentioned, they're worried more about the gameplay and less about the looks. They're keeping a simplistic look to the whole game, which is something that any gamer should appreciate. And I have to say, Warsuit does not have a release date yet, but lucky for you guys, the audience, game director Thomas Mahler is going to be joining us live right here on the show on Skype.
Yes.
So if you guys have questions for Thomas about his new game, Warsuit, make sure you send them over right now, Old Spice Report at MLGpro.com.
But in other news, on December 7th, World of Warcraft Cataclysm was released, and joining us right now via Skype is MLG WoW expert Detach. Detach, how you doing?
Oh, he's
All right, well, I can't really hear him too well.
Well, I think they're going to pump the audio to us. And
Detach, is your mic muted?
He's just smiling at
You
us.
might be noobing it right now. Mic muted. All right, we're going to figure this out. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Detach has fixed the issue.
Yes, thank you, Detach, for plugging in your headphones.
All right, Detach, well, welcome to the show officially now.
How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Doing good. All right, Detach, let's talk WoW
Great.
Cataclysm. All right, for those of you that don't know, Cataclysm sold 3.3 million copies in the first 24 hours of its release. Detach, why is it the fastest selling PC game of all time, and what's the big deal?
Well, World of Warcraft, it's a great story. Blizzard's been making World of Warcraft games for years now. I think it's been out since 2003, 2004. Cataclysm's the third expansion in the series, and it's the highly anticipated follow-up to Wrath of the Lich King. And Blizzard's really nailed it this time. They've made an amazing expansion.
So also with the expansion, the level cap goes from 80 to 85. What's so important about this? These extra 5 levels?
Well, the extra 5 levels just give you a chance to experience the content. You have to go through the zones to level your character and experience the content. And then when you hit level 85, it rescales all of your statistics on your character. So you don't do as much damage. You have a lot more hit points, and it allows the players they have to play the game as Blizzard intended for Cataclysm, rather than Wrath of the Lich King.
So it feels like kind of like it's a new game, but everything's different.
Yeah, it is a brand new game.
All right, well, let's talk PvP, which is player versus player. So how does Cataclysm differ from the Lich King, and how do you see it affecting the MLG tournament scene?
Well, player versus player in Wrath of the Lich King, the fights were very quick. It was really based around burst damage and just it's called gibbing your opponent, just killing him in the blink of an eye. In Cataclysm, the hit point pools have more than quadrupled, so fights will be a little bit more drawn out. There will be a little bit more strategy based, bringing it back to the playstyle of Burning Crusade.